Welcome back to Empower Yourself. Today we will talk about difference between GMP and cGMP. GMP, it stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. cGMP, it stands for Current Good Manufacturing Practices. So the word GMP is similar in the two cases, but here the C plays a very important role, which indicates current. So the word itself says about the current, which means the latest things or the techniques will be included as per cGMP practices. GMP. GMP defines the guidelines to get the required results. cGMP defines the use of the currently available or recent techniques to get the required results. Here, GMP is the one of the basic fundamental thing that has to be followed to get the required results whenever we are doing a particular activity in the pharmaceutical industry. When it comes to cGMP, it is the use of the basic guideline along with the updated techniques which are helpful to get the required results and helps in meeting the regulatory requirements. Here is the example that we can understand and know the difference between GMP and cGMP. When it comes to GMP, the basic concept of GMP remains constant. Like documentation is the requirement of GMP, and we have to prepare and maintain a proper document record. When it comes to cGMP, cGMP is continuously changing with the development of new techniques like documentation changes from paper to electronic system. So it is clearly seen that documentation is the requirement of the GMP as well as the cGMP. But when it comes to GMP, it is required to prepare and maintain a proper documentation. But when it comes to cGMP, here we can see that we are using the technology and the techniques of the current practices from changing from the use of the papers to the electronic system. This is one of the easiest and the basic example that we can see when we want to demonstrate or when we want to explain about GMP as well as cGMP practices. And we can see the major and the basic thing that is being followed in the pharmaceutical world is data integrity. When it comes to data integrity, the basic concept before was Alcoa, where it is the requirement in the GMP. But when it comes to current practices, it has been increased from Alcoa to Alcoa Plus. So this is how GMP as well as the cGMP varies with the time, with the development as well as the development of the new technologies and innovations. Let us see about GMP versus cGMP when they go hand in hand. When it comes to quality, with GMP, you're following the required standards applicable to your industry. With cGMP, you go a few more steps ahead to ensure that you comply with the latest regulations. When it comes to the cost, GMP is less costly to implement and maintain. cGMP requires more investment in additional testing and state-of-the-art technologies. Standards. GMP is the minimum standard applicable to your industry. With GMP, you're compliant with the most current rules and regulations applicable to your industry. So, if we can differentiate them, the GMP is less costly and the quality is maintained, but it is not uh, involved in more steps like meeting the regulatory requirements. When it is comes to cost, it is less cost in GMP. But when it comes to cGMP, they are using technologies and additional testing is involved, and they have to invest more when they are implementing cGMP activities. When it comes to standards, the GMP, they would be following the minimum standards, but when it comes to cGMP, they need to be in compliance with the current guidelines, current regulations of the industry as well. So if we can see and we can understand that GMP and cGMP are the basic concept, but following the current technologies and implementing according to the latest regulations and guidelines is the main important thing that is needed in cGMP. When we look into our daily activities that we are using, for the best example is that the mobile phones that we are using. So we have the basic model of the mobile phone where we can reach or we can communicate with the other person. The same it comes with the smartphone as well. That is, the basic requirement is to communicate with the other person. But when it comes to the basic model, we may not be having many features for browsing or for installation of the apps. But when it comes to smartphone, there would be many features where we can go and log, browse, and install many apps that we are in requirement. So the basic is need of the mobile phone is it is used for the communication. So, but this current practices and current features are involved into smartness. So the same basic concept is involved in the pharmaceutical industry, but the practice is different. Like the basic concept is the same, but we are using the current technologies to get the quality of the product. So I hope you have understood about the GMP and cGMP in clear and it has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching and learning. Do share your thoughts so that it will be helpful to others. Thank you.